Okay, we're in. Edit. 3, 2, 1. Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, and welcome again to this week's edition of the Shootin' Show. You know, here in Louisiana, you may see us in short sleeves one week, in an insulated coat the next, because somebody once said about Louisiana weather, if you don't like it, well, just wait 30 minutes and you'll get another kind of weather altogether. And it sure seems that way sometimes. We're so happy to be with you today. We have some great guests on our program. And you'll notice we have here one of the most mismaligned guns, I suppose, that I know of. And this is the civilian or sporting version of the AK-47. So we're going to be testing this gun along with several others on our program today, and I hope you're really going to enjoy it. So let's get started. Now, friends, what you're looking at here, and I think you can get a pretty good shot of this, is the sporting version, as I said a moment ago, of the AK-47. And these things are going by different titles. This one, I believe, is entitled the MAK. And tell you the truth, there was nothing on the box that we got it in, but you can see it has a thumb hole stock, and of course it's pretty nicely figured wood, in fact. And it looks to have, I'm going to guess, and I really need to measure this, it looks to have about a 20-inch or so barrel. And this is a slightly different version. There are 2 or 3 different versions of this gun being imported now. Edit, out. Bring it on back even further. Back, as far back as it'll go. All right, come back in a little closer to me. And we've got me about here up. Am I in it? Okay, you got me about from here up. All right, edit. 3.
From your chest up?
Yeah, but well, from my knees up here. You got the gun on
the bed and everything?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Got that?
Yeah.
Bear with us, Bill. We're doing the best we can. Okay. Well, I'm in, right?
Yeah.
Now then, our table's a little wobbly.
So the hill.
Okay. Doggone it. It's okay. Whatever. All right, edit. 3, 2, 1. Now, friends, as I've said before, and I don't know if there is such a word as mismaligned, but these guns got so much unfair criticism after that terrible tragedy out in California where that young man shot a bunch of kids with a similar gun. But the thing is, what they didn't tell you, there were a lot of other guns that crazed individual could have used that would have been much more effective or deadly than this particular gun. But the media and some of the anti-gun people use that as an opportunity to try and make the semi-automatics in general look bad. But we certainly know better than that, and it's ridiculous to blame a machine, a weapon, for a crime, because it's just not so. That's not how it works. People are responsible for crimes. And you know, one of these in the hands of a homeowner, or a hunter for that matter, can do good for many, many years. You can protect your home with one of these guns. Certainly a whole lot better than edit. That's all right. Now, back the camera up. Back it on up. Okay, back up. All right, edit. 3, 2, 1. In fact, with the proper ammunition, this is a very fine hunting gun as well as defense gun. Now, we've run pieces on the AK-47 on our program at other times, but just to bring you up to date, because we do have a lot of new people who are tuning in each week to watch our program, and those of you who've watched us from the beginning, from our first broadcast over 2 years ago, well, please bear with me if this is old information to you. But since we do have so many new people, we want to bring everyone at least partially up to date. Now, this particular gun, to be sporterized, it does not have a bayonet lug. This one came with a bipod, so I'm sure when we fit that on the gun and try it, it may show us some surprising accuracy out at 100 yards. And this gun, again, with proper ammunition, is an effective hunting gun out to 100, 150 yards within the capabilities of the cartridge. The AK-47 cartridge is a 7.62 by 39. That's its official nomenclature, I suppose you'd say. And there are a couple of different bullet types available for it. The good news is there is high quality American ammunition being manufactured for these guns now, in addition to the excellent Chinese ammunition. And personally, I always look for the later head stamps. This particular cartridge I'm holding has a 92 on the base of the cartridge, and I'm assuming it was made in 1992. So the later editions of the Chinese ammunition come with non-corrosive primers. And I tell you what, friends, some of the old military surplus ammunition is real cheap to shoot, but I do hate to clean up one of these with soap and water. And if you have a mercuric primer or a corrosive primer, really that's the best way to clean these guns, is with soap and water, then dry them real good and then oil them real good. Well, personally, I don't much like to do that, so I prefer to use the non-corrosive ammunition when it's available. And a lot of it is available here in the United States now. This is actually a 30 caliber. The bullet is not a 308 such as our 308 Winchester or US 30 all right, edit, bring me back, cut it, all right, edit, all right, bring me a little closer. This is going to help our programming. How close are you?
Open these up.
Okay. Edit. 3, 2, 1. Now, friends, this is a 30 caliber bullet. They call it that. It is not quite the same, such as our 308 Winchester or 300 Winchester Magnum, or even the 30 M1 carbine for that matter. It's actually 311 thousandths in diameter versus 308 thousandths in diameter. So it's just a little different from the US 30, but it's very similar. You know, 2 or 3 thousandths of an inch is not very much away from our standard service type military round, and certainly the 30-30s, which use the 308 inch diameter bullets. It's a very similar cartridge, in fact, to the 30-30. Now, you don't have quite as much initial muzzle velocity, and it doesn't use as heavy a bullet as the 30-30, but with the sharp pointed or Spitzer type bullets, once you get out to 100 yards, they're pretty darn near equal in power. So actually, these guns now are very fine deer rifles. They're being shipped, these sporting versions are being shipped with 5-round magazines, and they work just like the older model AKs that we used to see so many of. They go right in the magazine well here, and it's a very firm fit. And I tell you what, this is a really strong and high quality magazine. The feed lips are very robust and well made, and the AK type magazines are really some of the more rugged and durable detachable magazines that I'm aware of. But these really are interesting weapons to own and collect and to shoot, for that matter. They're so simply made. You push this button on the back of the receiver and the dust cover comes off, and then the bolt and the entire mechanism will slide right out when you take the spring out, and you can have the gun down for complete cleaning. They're really simple. Of course, realize that the Russians, of course, where this gun originated, an old boy named Kalashnikov was the designer on this gun, and these guns have literally been sent all over the world to a number of client countries that the Russians had, and they had to be maintained very simply by the most elemental or the most elementary educated soldiers that some of these guns went to. In fact, I'm sure that a lot of people in Vietnam or some of the other countries that got these guns originally from the Russians, and the Chinese for that matter, probably could not even read, so they had to be very simply manufactured and very rugged for the guns to continually be in service. And believe me, they are that. Now then, you say, well, what good does that do me as a citizen or me as a hunter or gun owner to have a battle rifle type mechanism? Well, the good news is you can be on a deer stand, it can be 10 below zero, it can be snowing, and believe me, these guns are probably going to work. They have a large safety on the side, and let's come in and look and see if we can get a close-up of how the safety mechanism works on this gun. All right, bring it on in. You in pretty close?
I've been doing good. I've been going back and forth, back and forth.
Well, good. All right. Well, the light's getting good out here too now, I think.
I got
Okay.
it. Hold it up just a tad.
All right. Are we there?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, friends, you can see there is no safety around the trigger guard, as on a lot of other rifles that we're familiar with. The safety's on the side, and it's a great big lever. And their reasoning for this is extremely positive. The reason for putting the safety here was so it could be operated with gloves. Realize that a lot of the climate in Russia is very, very cold and muddy and poor conditions, so they didn't want a small lever. They wanted something that could be operated with gloves on your hands. And it's really positive and easy to operate. And of course, when the safety is on, it's up, the trigger, the hammer, everything is blocked, and of course down to fire. And we know it's unloaded. And actually these guns come with pretty decent triggers on them. I'm going to guess this one is probably 5 pounds or 4 pounds or somewhere in that range. It's really easy to shoot the gun really well. The gas system, and can we see this on top here? Can we see it on top? All right, let me hold it right here. How about there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where is it located?
Right here. We want to get this part right here. Can we see that? All right, back it on up.
I got it.
All right, you can bring it back where you can have me and the table. Okay?
Back where I had it.
Okay, good. That's fine. Edit. 3, 2, 1. The way these guns work, to give you an idea, of course, it is a semi-automatic gun. None of these guns coming in for civilian sale are fully automatic. That's the silliest thing when people say assault gun, because this is really not an assault gun. This is a semi-automatic, and it probably should be termed as a carbine because they're not very big. You have a medium power cartridge, and it is certainly not a full-scale battle rifle. It is still, of course, a rifle, but I think it would be more appropriately termed as a carbine type gun. Anyway, what happens is when the cartridge is fired, the bullet comes down through the barrel, and the gas pressure behind the bullet comes through a couple of holes, or hole drilled in the barrel. It comes up through this device here, and it has a piston, just like a piston on a car. The gas pressure will push that piston down. It will come back. It will eject the fired case, push the bolt all the way to the rear, recocks itself, and of course under spring pressure the bolt will come forward, and then of course the gun is ready to be fired again. So this is an extremely rugged and durable mechanism. The beauty part about these guns, they're so simple. It's really amazing to look at one torn down, and we'll do that in another segment. We'll show you how to clean one of these guns, but it's really interesting to see just how simply and ruggedly they are made. So let's shoot the gun, and we're going to point out a couple of things about ammunition in just a moment. And another good point about these Norinco guns, this is a Norinco for that matter, made in China. It looks to be of very high quality. Our luck with the Norinco guns has been really excellent. It may not be, say, as highly polished or finished as some of the other manufacturers in America and Europe, or Japan for that matter, but the functioning has always been excellent, and you can't fault their engineering and the quality of their metal. So we'll shoot the gun in just a moment and let you see what just what it does look like. All right, edit. 3, 2, 1. Now friends, you can see the bullet in my right hand, and I hope we can focus on this. All right, how clear is it?
It's good. I just hit the camera on accident.
Okay, is it pretty clear on the bullets?
Hold them down just a smidge.
Just a little bit?
Right there.
All right.
Let me get the center.
Pretty good? Okay. All right, now then, edit. 3, 2, 1. Now friends, the bullet I am holding in my right hand is a lead-tipped or soft-nosed bullet. In my left hand I have the military full metal jacket version. Now then, for target practice and just out plinking and shooting tin cans and having fun, certainly go with the less expensive full metal jacket military bullet. But now that there's an abundance of soft nose ammunition for the 7.62 by 39 for any sort of hunting application, such from varmints on up through deer, well, of course, the soft nose is definitely the way to go. We're going to look at the results of the full metal jacket versus the soft nose as far as a simple demonstration on energy dump, or energy, whatever you want to call it. How about disposing its energy on water jugs in just a second. But let's put some shells in our magazine and just shoot this AK civilian version and see how it looks. All right.
I hope you don't want me to film this.
No. Edit. 3, 2, 1. Now then, friends, let's load our sporterized AK with our 5-round magazine, of course, which comes with the gun. And there are other magazine types available, but we just don't have one today. And this, of course, is what the government is letting the Chinese import into the U.S. for sale. And they are good magazines, as I said earlier. So let's insert it in the bottom like so, and snap it in place and be sure that it's firmly seated. Now then, friends, we're going to show you what the full metal jacket bullet looks like on, again, our very basic, utterly simple demonstration target of a water bottle over here. And then we're going to show you the same cartridge, but with the only difference, an expanding point or soft nose bullet, and show you some idea of why they're so much better on game. And realize that on a game animal you won't get anything like the result that you get here, but they are effective cartridges for up to deer hunting, certainly. So let's look at this water jug over here on your right. First of all, let's load the gun. All right, edit. 3, 2, 1. All right, you want to leave me in it. You didn't want to touch the camera then, baby. You wanted to leave it just like it was.
I am.
Oh, okay. I thought you'd move. Okay, that's fine. You're doing good. All right.
I'm making sure that was tight.
Okay. Now then, you can see me and the jug, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Put my earplugs in, and I'm gonna step up. I'm gonna walk out. Now then, walk back in. Okay, edit. Whoops. Try it one more time. Edit. 3, 2, 1. Now then, as I was saying a moment ago, let's load our AK, and we'll have to push the safety off to load it. We'll pull the bolt handle all the way to the rear, and let it go. We don't let it ease forward, let it go, because that's how they have to work. And of course, for standing here, we're going to put our safety on. Let's shoot the water jug on the right with full metal jacket cartridge, and just see what happens. And now, of course, we'll apply our safety. All right, what we saw, of course, it definitely obviously hit the jug, but it just punched a hole in it, and you don't have enough velocity for the hydrostatic shock or hydraulic shock of a soft nose bullet. It really didn't do a whole heck of a lot to the jug. It just blew the cap off, and of course now the water's leaking out. Now then, let's turn, and our next cartridge in the magazine was the soft nose. So let's take a look at that on our other water bottle here and see what that looks like. Push our safety off, put our finger on the trigger, and put our safety on. Now you can see the energy transfer is much, much more dramatic. And believe me, now folks, if you're out there in pursuit of a game animal, that is a much, much more desirable bullet, because nobody wants to see a game animal suffer. And another thing, if you live in a rural area such as we do here, this would be a tremendous home defense gun. Personally, I would want a longer magazine than this, but heck, if all you got's a 5-round magazine, well, you can certainly make do with it, because these guns are so easy to shoot well and accurately. And on another show, we're going to test the accuracy of this gun out at 100 yards, and we'll find out just what it will do. But typically, the shorter barrel AKs will shoot within a 5-inch circle at 100 yards. And this one, since it did come equipped with a bipod, I would suspect that it will do better than that. So, let's shoot the gun again in just a moment, and let you see it just doesn't have much recoil at all. All right, edit. All right, edit. 3, 2, 1. Now, friends, we're going to shoot several times rapid fire. I think we'll shoot it 5 times and clear out our magazine here. And you're going to see there's just not much recoil. So let's do that and let you look at it. These guns are so much fun to shoot because you don't have the recoil. They're excellent hunting guns for women or people of somewhat slighter stature because you just don't have the noise and recoil that you would on a higher powered rifle. And they're certainly usable by a wide range of people. So let's see what it looks like. That's fun. Friends, we highly recommend the sporterized versions of the AKs. They're excellent buys and bargains. We'll check it. Yes, it is empty, but we're going to put our safety on anyway. And this is one that if you really want a fun and collectible gun, well, this is one I think you really should take a look at. We're going to run a long-term test on this particular gun and see how it holds up. But believe me, enough of these been made by the Chinese and the Russians. I think they've got their mechanism worked out pretty well by now. And it's just an excellent gun to own and enjoy shooting. Now, friends, what you're looking at here is the European American Army. Edit. Alright, this is your basic European American Army pistol. Alright, turn it over. The other side, turn around to the other way. Okay, you're doing good. Flame mount safety. Alright, tilt the top back toward me a little bit. No, the top of the gun. Tilt it. There you go. Good. Now tilt it back the other way. Right there. Alright, up, back up. No, down. Right there. Good. Good. Alright, edit. 3, 2, 1. Now, friends, the gun you were looking at just a moment ago, of course, is the European American Armory Witness pistol. The one that we have here is in 40 Smith & Wesson chambering. And I tell you what, friends, a lot of new semi-automatics are coming on the market from a number of different manufacturers. But let me tell you, this is possibly one of the best ones, certainly one of the absolute best designs available today. You know, this pistol came from the design of the original Czech or CZ75 handgun. Now, Jeff Cooper said all along that he liked the design of the gun so much, if it was ever made in a caliber, you know, Colonel Cooper's not a fan of the 9mm caliber. If it was ever made in a bigger caliber, he would certainly think it was a very, very fine combination to use as a defensive pistol. Well, that's just what the good folks down in Italy at Tanfoglio have done. This pistol is manufactured by Tanfoglio in Italy, and their quality of metal and their manufacturing practice is just tremendous. This gun is comparable to anybody else's manufacturing process that I'm aware of by looking at the way it works and the way it's fitted. These guns are a little different from the 1911, and you know that's one of my all-time favorite guns, is the basic Colt 1911 or Browning design. It has some similarities to the Browning design, but it also has some different things that are not the same as the Browning. One, the frame rails come on the outside of the slide on this particular gun, on this design, whereas the slide goes over the frame rails on the 1911. So it's just a different pattern that they use. But the CZ, the first CZs that I saw were imported through Canada by somebody several years ago, and they were awfully hard to get. So along come the Italians, and they say, wait, you know, there's a great design here. And at that time, Czechoslovakia was a communist country, so they went ahead and started manufacturing the same gun or the same design pistol, and have been selling it worldwide ever since. I think they made a good decision and a good choice, because I tend to agree with Colonel Cooper that this is one of the absolute best pistol designs that I have yet come across. The gun, of course, is all steel, and I'll turn this way, and as you saw in the close-up a moment ago, edit, now bring it on up a little closer. A little bit, not too much, just so we'll have a different shot. Okay? How close are you?
I can't get any closer without cutting your head off.
Okay, all right, that'll be fine. All right.
Cut your head off?
No, just like you got it.
I've been moving it back and forth.
Okay, well don't move it unless I ask you to though.
But it's good news.
Don't move it unless I ask you to.
Okay.
All right. Now then, edit 3, 2, 1. Now friends, it has a left side frame mounted safety, and of course your slide release is also on the left side. It's very prominent. The gun has a good set of large fixed sights, and of course these guns come with all sorts of options. You can get adjustable sights, different finishes, a number of different calibers also that are available now in this gun. But my favorite condition or situation surrounding the frame mounted safety is for action shooting or for carry if you so desire. And we know this gun's empty. Let's check it again. Yes, it is. In fact, you can carry the gun or have it in a safe condition, cocked and the safety locked on. So especially for any type of action or competition shooting, this is the only way to go. And these guns are very comfortable. The grip is at a somewhat higher relation to the line of the bore, and you don't get as much recoil with this particular design as in some other designs of pistols. So it's extremely comfortable to shoot. But the safety is easily manipulated. It's easily reached there by your thumb, and of course the slide release is also easy to reach and very prominent, so you can drop the slide on a fresh magazine quickly and easily. Again, these guns are manufactured so well. The fit and polish is real good. This particular gun has a matte blued finish, and I think it's attractive myself. It has an unfinished wood grip that is comfortable for my hand, and most others. It is a non-slip type surface, and it's really a heck of a package. You have some serrations on the front of the slide here, so you can check the barrel, you can check the action to see if it's loaded without having to grab the back of the gun if you so desire. So this is one of the neatest package, and let me tell you what, friends, these guns are economically priced for what they are. They're available in 9mm 40 Smith & Wesson, such as this one we're using today. It's available in 45 ACP. It's going to be available in 10mm 38 Super 9x21, and who knows what else before they're through. But they really are good shooters, and they're good bargains. Now then, the magazines hold 12 in the later model magazines, 12 of the 40 Smith & Wesson, and 1 in the chamber, which gives you a total of 13. So believe me, that's a potent combination. Now the 45 models hold, I believe, 10 in the magazine, 10 or 11, I'm not sure, and we certainly want to look at one of the 45s soon. But that's a lot of firepower. Now knowing me, I'm an advocate of hit what you shoot at. But it's always nice to have the extra rounds in your gun, and especially for those of us who like action shooting, you won't have quite as many reloads. And of course the 40 Smith & Wesson is a potent cartridge. Edit. All right, edit. 3, 2, 1. Now friends, we're talking about a higher capacity magazine, of course, here for our witness. And let me break in for a moment. This is one of the neatest little devices that I have ever run across. This is a magazine loading assistance tool from HKS. And let me tell you what, if you don't own one of these and you have a high capacity magazine, such as for the witness here, or of course they make them for a number of other high capacity magazines, such as the Browning High Power, the Ruger P85, the Berettas, Tauruses, and certainly this is the 941, I believe, yes, model, that works here for our witness pistol. Let me show you how this works. For those of us who'd like to do a lot of shooting, if you're out and you shoot 50 or 100 rounds through a semi-automatic in one afternoon, you're going to have a sore thumb from loading magazines. So let me show you. This is the neatest thing that I have come across yet for loading magazines at a rapid pace. It goes in like so, and it has several little grooves here that the base of the magazine will fit into. Now then, you have a thumb piece, and I put my little finger under the base of the magazine, and watch this. Reach down and get a cartridge, and hopefully you can see this well. Are we pretty good here?
Move
Which way?
a little bit.
Huh?
Move that way.
Okay, how about right there?
Right there.
Okay, now watch this. We'll insert our cartridge here and pull our trigger, and my gosh, we've got a loaded round. Let's do another one. All right, to load the round, you'll push down on the tab with your thumb, insert the cartridge into the magazine lips, release the trigger, and just push the round in. This is so simple and so neat and works so well. This is one of the neatest products, and we wanted to make you folks aware of this. They're inexpensive, and everybody ought to have at least 2 or 3 of these laying around the house. Isn't that neat? And it works so well up, you know, a lot of the high capacity magazines, when you get up toward in the 9mm, you get up 13, 14 rounds, they get really hard to load, and this just takes all the problems out of that. And of course, when you get up around 11 or 12 rounds in the 40 caliber magazines such as this, they get real difficult to load. And again, this is such a neat device made by HKS. So we want to put in a plug for them. Okay. Edit 3, 2, 1. Okay, friends, let's shoot our Witness pistol in 40 caliber from the good folks at the European American Armory. And I tell you what, they have a product line that really deserves looking at. They have a number of really innovative things that they're starting to bring in the country. And believe me, you ought to get one of their catalogs if you can, because they have so many interesting things that all of us as shooters will be interested in. Anyway, let's look at the recoil of the 40 caliber Witness, and I think you're going to be impressed because it really recoils in pretty much a straight line. I have already inserted our magazine. I grasped the slide. In fact, I put the slide lock on. Now then, remember, if you, of course, I have the slide in a locked position here. The way to do this is to press your slide lock and let that chamber, let the slide run forward and snap forward, in fact, so you'll be sure you have a loaded cartridge. So now then, let's take a look at the gun and shooting it. Edit 3, 2, 1.
Sorry.
I may get a close-up of me shooting the gun. Pretty close on the gun. Get my arms and so forth. Okay. Got it pretty good?
You want me to get your face too?
No. Like so.
Okay.
Okay. Edit 3, 2, 1. Take a look at it shooting it, recoil. And you'll see it just didn't have a lot of muzzle rise. Of course, I put my safety on. Now, friends, I want to remind you, this is a double action semi-automatic. So I'm going to point the gun, of course, in a safe direction. Oh, bring it on back. Bring it on back.
That's what I was doing.
Oh, you ahead of me, baby. All right.
I said.
Good. All right. All right. Edit 3, 2, 1. Now realize, friends, that I have a cocked pistol in my hands with a loaded magazine. The gun's loaded. It's cocked. I have applied the safety. Now then, this is a double action mechanism on this Witness pistol. I'll show you how it works. Now, to decock one of these guns, it's a little different from certainly from the Colt or whatever else. Edit. Oh, we won't use this segment. We'll just start again. All right, edit 3, 2, 1. Now, friends, I want to remind you that I have a cocked pistol here in my hands. We just shot it. I have applied the safety. And let me show you how the double action mechanism works. To decock it, I'm going to, of course, point it in a safe direction. I'm going to push the safety off, grasp that hammer with my thumb, and gently go ahead and depress the trigger and gently let that hammer down very carefully. And in case the hammer were to slip or something like that, we always have the gun pointed in a safe direction. We just don't take any chances. But now then, this gun can also be carried with the safety on and the hammer in the decocked or down position. So let me show you how that looks. The first thing, I'll put it in my left hand to show you. We'll push the safety off. Now then, the gun is ready to be fired even though the hammer's down. So take a look at this. The first shot, the trigger's out here. We'll just pull the trigger just like on a revolver. Okay, now the gun is of course cocked and the trigger is in the rear position. Now it's in a single action mode. And of course, to fire the gun now, it doesn't take nearly as much effort. It's just at the rear of the trigger guard. It takes just effort to fire. And of course, we'll put the gun on safe. So this is really an excellent design. As with any semi-automatic pistol, you need to take the time and sit down and go through the manual and get some training on from someone who knows how to shoot a semi-automatic, because they don't work the same way as revolvers. And this is something we cannot talk about too much. In fact, I know I'll make some of you tired. You say, well, Johnny said that a lot of times before, and believe me, I'm going to say it again. If you're shooting a semi-automatic for the first time, or you've been shooting a revolver and you're going to a semi-automatic, or you just added one to your collection, please read the instruction manual. Read the safety instructions that come with these guns. And if you don't have a safety manual with these guns, all of the importers or manufacturers will gladly send you a manual and safety instructions for these guns. Please get some instruction. So let's shoot the gun on these steel targets over here and see what it looks like. Okay, out. You got us all in there? I got enough bullets. Okay, ready? I'm gonna walk in right here. Okay, edit. 3,
You're already in it.
2, 1. Now, just nod to me when I get in. All right, let's shoot our steel targets with our witness pistol. Here we go. Let's see what. And of course, we'll apply our safety, not supply, but apply our safety. Now, friends, this is one we recommend highly, and trust me on this one. When the word gets out, this is still a fairly recent gun in this country. When you say recent, over the past several years, they've been imported by Springfield Armory and a couple of other companies. Now from the good folks at European American Armory. They are top quality, they work well, and they're good people. European American Armory are good people to deal with and do business with. So this is one, again, if you want one of the absolute best combinations for semi-automatic guns, for handguns, believe me, this is one you should look at. The witness pistol, EAA. Okay. And we're out. All right, now then. All right, back it on up. Where you can get me in there.
Okay.
Okay, we're all in? Okay, edit. 3, 2, 1. Now, friends, the gun that you were looking at a second ago up close.
Battery.
Huh?
Battery light's on.
Okay, hold that. Cut it off. Okay, edit. 3, 2, 1. Now, friends, this particular revolver that I'm holding now is, of course, the Model 57 Smith & Wesson we were looking at just a moment ago up close. It is a standard in-frame or large frame Smith & Wesson, except this one is unlike the 44 Magnums that we're used to looking at and handling, or for that matter, Model 27s and 357. This is in 41 Magnum. And you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this may be as good a compromise handgun as has ever been built, because the 41 really has not gotten the attention or the popularity that it has deserved, because it is really a tremendous caliber. Downloaded, you can have target grade or velocity shells that are easy on your hand, easy on your ears to shoot, and of course up in the upper levels of its capability, the 41 is pretty close to a 44 Magnum. Now, in the Smith & Wesson guns, it seems that the 41, due to more material and being a little heavier than the 44 Magnum Model 29, it seems like they hold up better. Some of the silhouette shooters in particular on the old model, Model 29 44 Magnum Smith & Wessons, really destroyed their guns or really shot them until they were so loose they had to be repaired through shooting continuous heavy loads. The new model Smith & Wesson 29s and 629s, the classic models in particular, have an endurance package. So in fact, the one we've been shooting now for about a year, we haven't been able to loosen it up because it's a really tremendous gun. But in the older model type Smith & Wesson revolvers, it seemed like the 41s held up a lot better for a long period of time under really heavy shooting. This gun is so finely made and functions so well. It is ultra smooth. The trigger on this particular gun is just like putting a knife through butter. It is so smooth, and we know it's empty. You see, anytime you see me put my finger on the trigger to cycle a revolver, you know it's going to be empty. But it is so smooth, and this gun is so much fun to shoot, whether you're using Magnum loads or the lesser varieties. This is one of the best home defense combinations. The Winchester Silvertip in the 170, 175 grain 41 exits this barrel of this model 57 at about 1,250 feet a second. It's not brutal. You still got a lot of power, but in this large, whoops, edit. All right, move the camera back. Move back.
I did.
Okay, good. Edit. 3, 2, 1. As I was saying a moment ago, in this large frame Smith & Wesson, you just don't have the amounts of recoil with these, we're going to call them mid-range or pretty much three-quarter loads silver tips. So it's really pleasant to shoot. It is an extremely effective game gun, but with the silver tips or a comparable bullet, it is an excellent home defense gun. There are several different loadings available for the 41 Magnum. You have the 170 grain, which comes out of this barrel, such as this bullet from Remington, and this is a full charge load. It comes out of this gun at about 1,400 feet a second. Pretty darn hot. That's definitely a full power loading. But there are also other loadings of 210 grains and 220 grains in full charge that are available for it. This gun was promoted by Bill Jordan and Elmer Keith years ago as possibly the ideal police weapon. And in fact, it may have just been that, but due to some of the department policies and lack of information on some of the police departments, the gun never really caught on as a police gun, although it is certainly one of the best there is. The other loading for this gun is a lead bullet at about 900 or so feet a second, which is comparable to the 45 ACP, ballistically speaking. It's very easy to shoot, but it does have the qualities of leading the barrel considerably. So I prefer to shoot hard cast bullets in the 41 because it doesn't lead, certainly at target velocities, or for home defense, the Winchester Silvertip is still easy to shoot and extremely powerful, and you don't have the penetration capability. It's not going to go through as many walls if you did have to shoot it inside a house or whatever else, or for hunting game all the way up through deer, the 41 and the 170 grain hollow point, or the 210 or 220 grain soft nose or hollow point. Excellent hunting load. So let's just get a look at this. When I talk about the Silvertip being an excellent home defense load, I want to show you something. We're going to shoot this target over here rapidly, and again we're shooting the three-quarter load Silvertip, which comes out of, I say three-quarter load, it's going to say Silvertip on the box. Don't go down looking for a 3/4 of a box on a Winchester Silvertip box of ammunition. But here we have a Safariland speed loader. We're going to load our gun, insert, and of course push it in place. Our gun's loaded. Now then, we're going to rapid fire our 41 Magnum with the full loading. I'm sorry, edit. Now I'm not in the picture now, am I? Oh, I am. Okay, I'm gonna walk on. And we'll come back with this. That's fine. Edit. 3, 2, 1. Now then, friends, we have a paper target over here, and we're going to shoot pretty rapidly with this Winchester Silvertip loading out of our Model 57, and let's see how that looks. Again, I'm saying this is an excellent, one of the absolute best home defense combinations, the Model 57 and the Winchester Silvertip. So let's see what it looks like. All right, 6 at a fairly rapid pace. Now then, let's walk up to our paper target and take a look at it. All right, we're on it pretty well.
What's that?
Huh? All right. All right, edit. 3, 2, 1. Now, friends, looking at our paper target here, you can see that I can easily reach with one hand all 6 shots fired at sort of a semi-point shooting type tactic there, and they're all pretty well centered. They're all pretty close together, and believe me, I don't know of anything that would withstand 6 rounds of 41 Magnum silver tips, and they're so easy to shoot fast and well, and it doesn't hurt your hand. It's not so brutal to shoot rapidly, and your noise is not nearly as bad as, say, a full charge 44 Magnum. So really, as fast as I shot that, that's not a bad group. The Model 57 is a gun that we really think has not gotten nearly as much attention as it deserves, and certainly the 41 Magnum cartridge. Okay? We got a close up here? Edit. 3, 2, 1. Now, friends, you can see the size of my group here. Heck, it's about 6 inches or so. That was a pretty rapid fire 6-shot string there out of our Model 57. And believe me, I can't imagine much of anything that could stand up to 6 rounds of Winchester silver tips and 41 Magnum. That's really not a very large group for the point shooting or semi-point shooting technique I was using. Again, it doesn't really tear up your hand, and it's easy to shoot fast and rapidly. So I think that the 41 Magnum in particular, such as the 4-inch Model 57, has not gotten nearly as much attention as it deserves. And we're going to try and rectify that somewhat. Edit. Okay, edit. 3, 2, 1. Our friends, again, the great Model 57 from Smith & Wesson. Remember now, silver tips for home defense or for smaller game shooting, and lighter bullets for just out plinking, having fun. But always remember that your gun has the capability of the full 41 Magnum, which, believe me, is a serious cartridge. Observe our volunteer water jug here with a full charge 170 grain Model 41 Magnum in our Model 57. A lot of gun.